everybody, and welcome back to another tutorial. I hope you guys are having a good day so far. So in this video today we'll be building this JavaScript random password generator. So on our right hand side we have our completed version of the project. So when we click on the button, it's going to generate a random button every single time, because essentially what it's doing is reloading the page. Because if you pay attention to this spinner thing right here, it's going to toggle every time we click the button. And now let's get started. So I'm gonna get rid of all that code so we can start from scratch. The first thing I'll do is create my boilerplate code, and then I'll create a div and give it an ID of container, and inside of this container I'll create an input, give it a type of text, name of, I'm gonna set it to an empty string, and the ID will just be input. And then I'll create a BR tag and then a button, and give this button ID of button as well, and the name of it will be generate password. And that's pretty much all we need for our HTML. We can move on to some JavaScript now, so we can actually add some functionality to it. So the first thing I'll do is I'll create a variable called button, and then store my button inside of that variable just like that. And then I'll call a function called get password. You can name it whatever you want, since function names doesn't really matter. It's what you want to name it. And then I'll create a variable called chars, var chars equals, and we're just going to be listing all of the keys on our keyboard. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And now we're going to do all that again, so we're going to type its uppercase forms, some angle brackets, and then maybe some division sign. And I think that's pretty good enough. I can create another variable called var password length equals 20. So that's how long the password is going to be. You can change it to however long you want it to be. And then I'll do password, var password equals an empty string, because we'll be picking a random character from this string, this super long string, and then appending it onto this password right here. And the way we do that is by calling a for loop, giving it a variable of I. You can give it whatever you want, whatever variable name you want. And then I'll do while I is less than password length. So while I is less than 20, we're gonna iterate I by 1. We're gonna increment it by 1 by doing plus plus. So we're gonna do var random number equals math.floor, and then we do math.random times chars.length. So it's going to pick a random number between this right here, and then we can do password plus equals chars.substring, and the first parameter will be random number, and the second one will be random number plus 1. And for the function we want to return password. And then for our button, we'll just give it an event listener of click, and when we click on it, it's just going to do location.reload, so it's going to reload our page. So now if we refresh, we have this input right here and our button. I'm going to call the function for its value. Okay, apparently there's an error somewhere, so it's at line 20. So I must have forgotten to close this off. No, that's not the problem. It's, oh, okay. Let me try deleting this right here. Okay, now we don't have any errors, and as you may have noticed, now when we click on the button, it's going to generate a random password every single time. So the first CSS style I will apply is for my browser, so I'll type body and give it a background color, background image my bad, background image of radial gradient, because if we just type background without this suffix right here, it's not going to work. So we have to do background hyphen image, and then radial gradient. And then for our container, I'll just give it a width of 20%, height of 100 pixels, padding 100 pixels, display flex, justify content center, colon center, just like that. And now those repeating backgrounds go away except for this middle part. And then we can do flex direction, column, position relative, left 60 pixels, background image, linear gradient. I'll just give it an angle of 45 degrees, gray, hashtag 222, and now we have the basic structure of our generator. And then we can give it a border radius of 30 pixels so that it rounds the edges off a little bit so it's not as sharp. And then we can give it a margin auto, so that's going to position the container in the center. So now if we look at it, it's in the center, well, horizontally. It's centered horizontally. And then I can do box shadow inset 0, 0, 3 pixel white, inset 0, 0, 10 pixel white, inset 0, 0, 20 pixel white, and for our last one we'll just do inset 2 pixels, 3 pixels, 20 pixels white. And now we have this nice looking box shadow inset on the inside of it. And we can also give it a reflection by typing -webkit -box-reflect, and we'll just reflect it below the image. So we'll do below 1 pixel linear gradient. It will be transparent with a color of hashtag 004, and now it's this transparent image. It's more like translucent because you can still kind of see it, but it's not as clear, which is the whole point of a reflection. We don't want it to be completely solid, or else it just looks like a clone, not a reflection. And then we'll do box shadow inset 002 pixel black, and we might as well just copy this down a few times to save us some typing and just modify the values a little bit. And then I'm going to do transform scale 1.1, border radius 10 pixels, padding 4 pixels, text align center, and then I'll do align self center, then height 20 pixels. So this will increase its current size by 40%. So I might as well get rid of this right here, up here. I don't know why I typed it in the first place, because this transform property is overriding the old one. Then once we're done with that, we can style our button, and then I'll just do background color hashtag 222. The color of the text will be white, so it contrasts pretty well on the button. Sans serif height 34 pixels, border radius 10 pixels, border 1 pixel solid black, cursor pointer. So what this is doing is when we hover over it, our cursor will turn into this icon hand, and our generator works just like before, except now it has some CSS styles. And we can also do margin 10 pixels to give the button some margin from the top to give it more space. And then I'll do align self center, transform scale 1.5, so I'm going to increase its size by 50%. And then once we're done with that, we can do button focus, background color orange, outline none, so that when we click on the button there's no outline around it. And then our last property for our button and for our entire project will be the hover property. So when we hover over it, we want it to scale by 1.7. So if you notice, when we hover over it, it increases in size. And this is pretty much it for the project. If you guys enjoyed and found it useful, make sure to go check out my other videos and support my channel as well, because it would really mean a lot. We're so close to 50 subscribers. It would mean a lot if you guys go subscribe. And other than that, I hope you guys have a nice day, and I hope to see you again in my next video. Thank you again for everything, and I'll see you again in my next video.